We're back on day 2. Really gonna sink our teeth into it today. We're gonna make sure all the hangers are installed. We're gonna make sure all the structural supports are bolted and properly covered up. And then from that point, I think we're screening the floor in and we might be able to start some decking today. The reason we're putting down this flat board is because this is the area where our screen porch is going to end. And so to get that photographed or picture frame style decking board, we're going to have a board that goes all around the perimeter, and I'd like it to come down right through the middle of this spacing right here, as to allow us to butt the perpendicular board to it and have a really nice place to screw. We'll get support for our decking boards while being able to install the design that we really want. We'll run and get a couple rolls of screen, and then I guess a really big bucket of screws and some drill bits.
In 800 feet, turn right toward US.
All right, let's go do some damage in Home Depot. I think we probably got to get something extra. Hey Romeo, aquí estoy en la línea con los hangers ahorita. Yo lo voy a agarrar. Of these. Actually, you know what? We're gonna get the 2.6Zs because that's all we really need. Plus we do have that 2x2 ledger. And you can see the cost difference right here is $186 for the 2x6 hanger and $2.40. So it's about 55-cent difference. You do that, 50 times, you can save 25 bucks. The 2x8, 2.8Zs do 2x8 and 2x10. 2x6 does 2x6 and 2x8, and so on and so forth. So they will withstand the load, or 2 50-foot rolls would suffice. So I think we'll get, this is a 48-inch by 100-foot roll. We can use this for now, but we're gonna have to get another one for sure. 25-foot does us no good. I think we get 100-foot, pick out some type of nice screen door. That looks like a good screen door. Really open, really loose. But I do like that you can change the, oh, it's just completely out of the rubber grommet. Okay. The 1 gallon of trim, that should do both the kitchen and the new addition part. The semi-gloss, you won't need but one of those. I got enough screen to do the bottom portion and some of the sides. We'll have to get some more later on. But for now, it's exactly what we needed. So we got a nice 100-foot by 4-foot roll of nylon screen here in a 25-pound box of 1,800 deck screws. Hopefully that'll be enough. I think we should have a good bit left over. All right, so we're gonna put this one flat. Wheezy pig army aí? Right here. I think we're gonna take a little time, and like I touched on earlier, hangers, posts, and bolts, really make sure this foundation is strong, and also to kind of get the majority of that done before the decking boards go on, as it has a great, space and opportunity right now to reach down in there, and it's really convenient to work on it right at the moment. Before we can install the decking boards onto the screen porch area, we need to screen protect the top portion of the joist. It's absolutely pointless just to do the 3 sides if you're not going to do the underneath portion, because they will sure as heck find their way right up through there. It's like they got a homing beacon on the inside of your skin or something. I know he's in there, and I'm coming in hot. Let's get you some water. I'll show you these little hot dogs. Well, they look like hot dogs. They're just dog treats, but they made them in the shape of a hot dog. But it does. It looks like a little bun in a hot dog, man. And it got my wife hook, line, and sinker. But, you know, Cheeky's, she actually likes it. Some food she doesn't like too much. Come on, Cheeky's. Yeah, she was thirsty. I'll get a shovel, fill that in. Then we got one more post, and he's got a nice hole right there already dug. That's good. Finish up a couple hangers, baby, and we are screening this deck in. Where else in the world can you find anything that tastes better than Mountain Dew? If you go in a gas station, literally, you just look all around. You can go to Food Line if you want to. You got a little bit more options. You can go through the whole food line. And there's literally nothing in that store that tastes better than Mountain Dew. That's why she likes to come to work. Now when the decking boards go down, you can see they'll nicely press that screen to the deck joist and not let any insect penetration come in through the screen itself. Now they're just slap tackering it down with 1/2 inch by 7/16 inch staples and literally just spreading it out, pulling it nice and tight and tacking it right onto the joists and around the band perimeter. Very, very easy to install. And then once it is stapled down, you can come back and cut this edge real clean so it's not sticking out past the decking boards. And voila, you are bug proof. So we were about to make an error right before lunch and I didn't happen to notice it until I got back. But if we're gonna do a solid picture frame all the way around, equally to how we set a flat piece of lumber on that far side for the deck to finish to and leave us somewhere to screw, we're gonna need something here at the beginning as well. So we literally just pulled the screen back and now we are going to install some blocking in this side. And also this is not perfectly straight. I wanted it straight before we close it all up. Sta prendita, Irie. And see, that'll give us somewhere to screw through here. And as we make that turn, these boards will be running this way, so they'll be screwing every 16 inches directly into the joists themselves. So small adjustment, but super necessary. So we'll get on that and on the decking boards, baby. Yeah. If you want to, Gara la pistola. We're gonna mark 1.5 inches down because that's the exact width of our 2x10. So I have a reference point there. And we know this 2x10 is perfectly straight. So I'll nail this right in here. Then we'll go right here. Same thing. I can live with that. That's pretty straight. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's tack that screen back down and we'll be good to go. I think we're gonna go with a 1-inch overhang. I've seen people go with a 1/2 inch. I've seen people go with 1.5 inches. And I've seen people go flush and put a deck board around the perimeter. It's really what you like to do. We're gonna try to go with an 1-inch overhang here. I just don't know if it's gonna allow us to do that. Being we have a 16.25 inch overall measurement. It really depends on what the factory 16s they sent us are. I'm gonna make some little marks right there just to make sure that the spacing on our screws is somewhat symmetrical and just not kind of all over the place. It might seem a little tedious, but I think in the overall finished product, it's really, really worth it to have it screwed down. And you wanna stay about 1 inch inside from the outside of the board. And just down flush to the board. So on this 45, I like to stay about 1 inch in and about 1 inch away from that cut. And the same thing out here, I'll stay about 1 inch away from this edge here, trying to fall in the center of this 2x10 band out here. Yeah, dame una entera. Eso es madera, de esas maderas tienen que estar exactly, okay, buddy. As you're doing your decking boards, you really need to make sure that the decking boards stay consistently straight as you go. These boards are different from one end to another. Even in the same board, sometimes we'll have 5.5 inches out here on the end, 5 1/4 even, that drastic on the other side, or vice versa. It could be the same measurement on the outside, different in the middle. For example, if you just didn't think about it at all and you just keep on going, by the time I travel over 16 feet, we could have a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch bow in the middle or on the outside or wherever the case may be. So checking it every 1 or 2 rows, key to making sure you have some nice straight looking decking boards. Here on the very end, this section is going to be our open porch deck. So there's going to be no roof, no screen around this area. But since we've lined up our picture frame around the screen porch area, we're going to do the same here, because our overall dimension is 8 foot 5 1/2. There's really nothing good to cut an 8 foot 5 1/2 piece of board out of. So if we take a perimeter board of our decking and attach it right to the deck, it just so happens to be 5 1/2 inches, which would leave us a net need of 8 foot exactly. And now we can get 2 of those out of our 16-foot material with absolutely 0 waste. So we're gonna install a board up here on this side, flush with our joist, kind of how we've started this piece here already, and equally as we did the other side, because we are picture framing this area of the open deck, we're gonna need a place to screw the outermost perimeter board and the board that goes on the inside and butts to it. We need an ample amount of space to put that screw in, as we don't like to screw very close to the edge. So by putting this board in place, it'll give us plenty of room to do that without having to be tight around the edges and maybe even cracking the decking board. So the original porch and step combo was really bad out of square. And we noticed it when we squared our new deck up in relation to the house. So this decking board on this side is gonna have to have about 1.1 inch difference in the rip over about a 4 foot span. So we're gonna cut the outside 45-degree angle with the notch on that 1.1 inch difference. And let's see when we get it up there, if we can stay nice and square and snug to our squared string line, while also being nice and tight to the existing stairs. We don't want to cut through the decking board on the part that's visible to everybody, so we'll flip that over, extend our cut out a little bit. So we'll slide this thing in here and see how it fits. Hopefully it lines up really well with our line. Oh boy, that looks good. That looks really good, as a matter of fact. We do have a couple of challenges that still stand in front of us that we're gonna have to overcome sooner than later. We have a power line that's coming from the, what's that called up there, transformer? Coming from the transformer to that side of the house, then it runs all along the entire length of the house and down to the meter base. So we're gonna have to work around it and, you know, build a temporary, well, some type of soffit system around there. open up these gutters, fascia, this soffit metal that you'll see underneath of here has to go, and we'll have to cut that back to the house perfectly flush with the brick wall, and also to not interfere with our ceiling that we're going to be installing on the screen porch. Dejar lo que tú tienes cortado está bien. We're going to mark 4.5 instead. Yeah. Well, that worked out good. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. That's what it goes to show you. Lining those pieces up and open them up to keep them straight. As we got to our very, very end right there, our entire rip all the way across is exactly 4.5, which is equal and really, really nice. Golly, that pipe couldn't be in the worst place in the world. Mike Christopher called me the other day, and he told me, hey Maynard. I said, what's going on, Mike? He's not much, I just want to let you know the steeple fell off the chapel. He's like, April Fools. I was like, Mike, I was like, that's not even funny.
That's a sick joke.
Yeah, I was like, that's not even funny at all. It's a clear possibility, son. So we're going to lower this conduit pipe with the electrical wire in it, and the main power wire of the house, we're just going to let that go down for a short period of time while we cut this soffit straight back from where our wall of our screen porch is going to be. We'll cut that straight back, and at the same time, or right after that, we're going to square this line up the roof and cut about 16 inches up the shingles and remove the 1/2-inch plywood as well. And we're going to do that to expose the rafter tails so we can get them out of the way and install our double 2x10 porch beam directly at the house, attach it to the existing wall on the inside, and let it extend all the way out to the outermost beam. And at that point, once we get them installed, we'll be almost ready to take our ceiling joist measurement and our rafter measurement. So for the positioning of our 4x4 posts, we have a little bit of overhang on the decking board that hangs past the band. But when you line up your 4x4s, we want them to sit directly over our double 2x10 bands so that they'll give the post and roof above support directly to what's having strength, which is the 2x10 band. So we are going to mark our overhang on both sides so we know exactly where to position our 4x4. And once I have this tacked down here at the bottom, we're going to level this off with 2 braces in contrary directions, so that way it will not move by the time we set our 2x10 above on top of it, and we can be sure that nothing's going to fall down or wiggle or change position, more importantly. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do it on the outside that gets covered up. Beautiful, baby. Let's do the same thing over here. All right, now, oh, you know what would be a good idea probably? Put a 4x4 on that side. Mas, ahí mero clavos. Hermoso, vato. All right, yeah, give him that 4x4. Give me that pistola, Poop. We're gonna center up this 4x4 that goes in the middle. Our overall measurement was 16.25 inches. And that's a 3.5-inch piece of wood, so we're gonna come over 1 inch plus 3/4, 94 3/16. We have a little bit of a crown in this 2x10 here. Now, one thing, you can't just cut relief cuts anywhere you want to. But as I reflected on earlier, the 2x10 is This is a shed roof, so our main support and our main weight on this building is out here on this outermost beam. Now we're gonna have a gable framed up here, which will help disperse the weight over the entire beam. So being that this board had a crown in it, I was able to cut a relief cut here, which is just a cut with about a 1/4 inch width up here down to about nothing. So that way when I pull this tight down to the post, it'll close the gap and alleviate that crown. And again, this side does not have hardly any weight on it whatsoever. But the relief cut that I made is directly centered over top of my support post that's made here in the middle. And so that will lend itself to support this half and this half without jeopardizing the integrity of our 2x10 beam. Let's get this straight. That one takes it really Let me see that ladder. Let me see that little ladder. No, yo voy a hacer algo diferente. Yo creo que me voy a tocar que sacar este poste, fíjate. Yo sé que está abajo, pero just close all like Yep. All right, give me another whole one over there. So we've made a lot of progress today. Looking forward to coming back tomorrow, and we'll see how we get it going on tomorrow morning. But they hit the jackpot when they made Mountain Dew. Whatever the molecular structure of Mountain Dew is, they nailed it. They nailed it, and they copyrighted the crap out of that, because it worked.